Good morning. I've got a lot to tell you. I've played in some big football games and had some intense moments on the wrestling mat, but I've never been more nervous than I am standing in front of you today. That's why I'm here to talk about mental health for athletes and to answer the question on everybody's mind, why play? Some people play because it's a routine, or maybe because they're forced, or they actually do like the sport. But there are multiple factors that could go into an athlete's mental health. To start, I'd like by asking a couple of questions. Please stand if you've ever participated in a sport or even a club. Keep standing if you've ever had a mental breakdown or something along of a mental crisis beforehand. Most of you kept standing after the second question, and that's the point I'm trying to make. But why play if it's causing you mental difficulties? You may all be seated. Now please raise your hand if you've heard of any of these athletes. Sarah Schulze, Caden Tile, Jane Hill, or even Robert Martin. Most of you guys didn't hear or know any of them, so you guys don't know what they all have in common. But this is, unfortunately, suicide. This is Sarah Schulze. She was a great athlete, running track in college even. But balancing athletics and academics was a big task. She also advocated for social causes, women's rights, and was a member of the Student Athlete Council, all at the University of Wisconsin. But unfortunately, she took her own life on April 13th of last year. This is Kate Tile. She was an elite soccer player at Stanford who felt neglected, shameful, and heartbroken. She was battling injury while often body shamed. Here's just a couple of quotes that I found that she once said. I wasn't able to find any worth in myself. I've never felt less of a human. And I felt like it was only a matter of time. She was the first collegiate athlete to pass away last year. I know it's uncomfortable to talk about, but these are examples why we need to take mental health more seriously. Why are athletes afraid to ask for help or don't know how? Or why can't they feel belonged anymore? This is a problem with today's world. Just think about how many people around you have mental disorders. Studies suggest up to 35% of elite athletes have mental health crises, this is something we need to confront. According to the poll from the National Alliance for Youth Sports, around 70% of kids in the US stop playing organized sports by the age of 13 because it's just not fun anymore. To get some insight, I talked to multiple student athletes right here in Port Clinton, including Ryan Madison, Taylor Oberly, Aiden Haynes, Skylar Cornell, and even Drew Stahl. But why did they quit? Was it mental health? Or maybe they just didn't like it anymore? I surveyed a couple of them, and this is what they had to say. I asked a senior a couple of questions about why he quit football. He replied, because I knew if I went to football practice every day, I would leave mad. But golf made me happy and cleared my mind for wrestling season. I asked him again, do you think you were made fun of for quitting? He said, constantly, but I didn't care because golf made me happy. The final question I asked him was, do you think overall quitting made you happier? All he said was a simple yes. This sounds like he made the right choice for himself and found out what was making him unhappy and finally fixed that for himself. Even though he quit one sport, he joined another and used that as an escape. I asked another senior about why he quit his sport. He replied, the coach was being unnecessarily hard on the team, and there was a game we were winning by a lot, but he never gave us a break and we ended up losing the game. That anger was taken out on the whole team. I asked him, would you say as a player, coaches play a big role in your mental health? He said 100%. When you're playing a sport all the time, you see that coach every day. If they start training you badly, it eventually takes a toll. The final question I asked was quitting worth it? He replied, yeah, I think so. I don't really miss it, and I have a lot more free time. Again, these are students who have claimed to quit their sport and been happier and had more free time. Now, the point of this talk isn't to make you quit your sport, but I think it's important we get to the root of the problem and help athletes balance their lives. Since I'm talking about Portland athletes that have quit their sport, I'm going to talk about one athlete who wrote a college essay about how he feels on sports. He's a Portland senior this year and played sports all 4 years, ultimately just committing to a college, furthering his athletic career. I'm going to read just a couple of lines of his writing. He said, I just want to make them proud. I've worked my whole high school career just to make them proud. Sometimes I've wanted to quit and be a normal student, but I didn't. He also said, but when injury became too much, I was instantly replaced with someone better who they loved and praised more. But my question to them is, what did I really mean to them? So at this point, you may be thinking my red talk is sounding like, why quit a sport? But I thought it was important to establish that there is a problem before naming solutions. When I say the term student athlete, student comes first. So it's important to note that we've done a bunch of school-wide things to address mental health. Many of you probably think back to earlier this year when we had the speaker, or maybe last year, the Friday full of games that we played. I like those days, but I'm not sure how much they help with a long-term problem. In my opinion, they don't. But what I do know are some other ways we can try to help athletes overcome mental health issues. To name a few, learn more about mental health by taking mental health awareness training, promote social and emotional competence and build resilience, ensure a positive and safe school environment, teach and reinforce positive behaviors in decision making, help ensure access to a school-based mental health support system. When we talk about the athlete side of student athlete, I honestly think it starts with coaches to make sure that it's fun. Growing up, we all dreamed of playing in big games and representing our community. But the daily grind of school, practices, relationships, and work can all take a health on our well-being. Sports can be such a positive part of a kid's development, but when we suck the fun out of it, we open the door for kids getting themselves in trouble and missing out on key social experiences. A personal example, I've had very good coaches help me along my athletic career, but it's not always easy for a new coach to step in and gain trust very fast, but some they do. Like our Dean of Students, Coach X, stepped into head wrestling coach my sophomore year and turned the whole program around. His first year, I trusted him to make me the wrestler that I've wanted to be. Out of all the times I say I hate wrestling practice, and I do really like coming back every day, but mostly for the spike ball beforehand. But Coach Hicks has made me a better person and a better athlete. To close, I do think we should advocate kids playing sports. Small schools like Portland thrive off multi-sport athletes. And on top of that, sports are a good gateway for students to get out of trouble and to let anger and stress out even. Michael Jordan famously said, "When I step onto the court, I don't have to think about anything. If there was a problem off the court, I find that after I play, my mind is clear and I can come up with a better solution. It's like therapy. It relaxes me and allows me to solve problems." Maybe he's right. Sports do so much for students, but being a student and an athlete is tough. We need to treat our athletes better and offer more ways to help them with the mental side of sports. So all student athletes can positively and confidently answer the question, why play? Thank you.